Hello and welcome to my live stream. And on today's live stream, I show a bit of a catch up on Pico Space and what's going on, which I think is some new and quite exciting RP2040 boards that have been launched, and of course lots more. Plus, of course, the chat around my projects and how they're going, some other projects as I found them on the net. Together with the opportunity for us to chat a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes on the channel and my plans, places I'm going to be and things that are going on. So hi, I'm John, your concierge to the world of the Raspberry Pi Pico, Pico 2, IoT, robotics and other fun tech. Welcome to the channel. This is my live stream, a more relaxed look at the world of the Pico, inside view on the channel and a bit of interaction as well. So feel free to add any comments in the chat. I've got a Q&A later. I can answer any questions then if there's not something that sparks my attention as we're going through. If you'd like, if it's your first time watching, then thank you very much for joining. I hugely appreciate it. And remember, there's a like and subscribe button. And if you're returning, that's even better that you're actually coming back. So thank you very much. I appreciate all of your interests and stuff. And please do like and subscribe. So how's things going? I hope you're all doing well. Coming into spring in the UK, we're actually got something other than rain and greyness outside, which is nice today, which is all good. So what's going on in your world? I'd love to know where you're all watching from. So please do let me know in the comments. So I'm going to triangling a new, exciting and slightly different way of doing the live stream. I'm using the StreamYard service as a trial this time. We'll see how that goes. Look, I can do nice things like make myself go little into the corner there, or make myself go really big. We could go just me. Look, get rid of the slides altogether. So I could do lots of stuff, which is probably bad. And probably not going to help with the understanding of the channel, is it? But hey, I've got you toys to play with. So we'll see how that works out today. Let me know if there's any issues or if it doesn't sort of work too well. I'd be always interested in your feedback, guys. So thank you very much. So yes, we're trialing StreamYard and we'll see how we get on with that. So what's on the agenda today? Well, normal updates around Pico news and projects. And then look, a new menu item, a new item on the agenda, first time in a year. Talking about being out and about and some of the events that I'm starting to go to around now. So I have a chat about those and then plans of what's going on the channel, my plans and where things are going. So all normal sort of stuff. And there will be some time from Q&A. I've got no canned Q&A questions, so it will be live Q&A only today, and we'll see how that goes. As normal, I will, after the show, so I've just told you what the agenda is, which is that slide, because I'm not used to this setup on my screen. And now I'm going to talk about this slide instead, which was in the other order. So sorry, I'll get it right one day, I promise. So as per normal, I'd love to have a chat with you guys and stay in touch. The place to do that, I think, is over on the DevEco's Discord server, and I will be hanging out there for a bit after the show and able to have a chat. So if you're around, if you're using Discord, there's a link there to get to that Discord server, and you'll find the Dr Jon EA channel there in the content creators channels group on that site. Please pop over there and we can have a chat afterwards. I'd love to see you there, and it's a really welcoming community, so they'd love to have you there as well. Right, so sponsor. You probably know some of my videos are sponsored. This is how I actually afford to run the channel and keep going and doing this stuff. If you know of a company that would love to sponsor my live streams, I would love you to have their message here. Just let me know and get in touch, and we can make that happen. So come sponsor me. My live streams are at your disposal even. Let's start with the news as usual, I guess. What's going on in the world of the Raspberry Pi Pico and other exciting tech, as I see it anyway. Well, it's been a quiet month, to be honest. I haven't noticed that much new news out there and stuff to talk about or think about. The big thing I have seen is my friends over at Wavreshare seem to have launched and be starting to launch a massive number of RP2040 boards, which is really, really cool. So there's screens, USB widgets, RJ45 Ethernet adapters, and lots more. So it's really, really cool. I absolutely recommend having a look at some of their stuff, and I'm gonna have a look at some of them on the channel, including this nice little device, which has even got a bit of sound on my video, which is a 2.8-inch touchscreen. And as you see, I've managed to get some code on that, and I will be putting up a video about it very, very soon. The nice thing about it is being 2.8 inches in size, even my fingers could actually touch controls on it and reliably and use it. So it's really nice. Like it. So that might be worth having a look at some point. In fact, we will be having a look at that at some point. So look out for that. So what else can we tell you about? So other things going on, I guess, is Raspberry Pis in space, or suddenly playing around with gravity and takeoff stuff. So I noticed over on Raspberry Pi's Pick of the World, they had two really interesting stories, I thought. So one of them was Michael Dummer's, Dr. Michael Dummer's team's work on a microgravity research, and they were using an RP2040 and looking at the effects of low gravity on plants and things, actually in parabolic flights. So that was really interesting that, these boards that we love so much, that we play with so much, actually being out there doing real research and real stuff for space travel. How cool is that? And there was another interesting one, article in there about a zero-G robots and the building of zero-G robotics. And of course, it's using ROS, the robot operating system, which I'm sure you all know is what I use for my robots on the channel. So really, really cool seeing that that's there and seeing that the potential. So go read those stories. Interesting use of the technology that we all love. And talking of technology we all love, because it isn't all academics or big companies making stuff. I came across this story around Jehan Shim's little screen based on a PIMoroni Inky, so e-ink colored display. These are really nice little boards. I quite like these. And he's actually got one up there actually showing a nice schedule of what's going on in his world. That looks really, really cool. I will put a link to the project in the description. The thing that really jumped on this for me was the fact that he'd actually ported LVGL to actually run on that e-ink display. And I've used LVGL on a number of my LCD displays, and it looks like it's a really nice little framework for building nice graphical UIs and touch UIs. And but I hadn't actually seen anything before that had used it on an e-ink display. So that was really nice to see, and a really nice bit of work. So definitely he deserves the kudos for that. So definitely mention him and that project. Go check it out. So as I said, I think it's been a kind of quietish month since we last chatted on the channel, so I can't think of much else that's happened in the way of news. If I've missed something, please do let me know. I'm not omnipresent. I try and search it, and I read a great deal about what's going on around these things, but I don't necessarily catch up with everything. So if I've missed something, let me know. If you've got some news or something exciting you think should be on my next episode, please do let me know, and I can make that happen. So that takes us really to the world of projects and what's going on in my exciting projects and things. So we normally have a bit of a catch up around what projects I've been working on in the last month or so, and all the projects that, you know, that generally most of them have been out and I've shared already with you. So let's just have a look at what are those projects, what was going on over the last month. Well, there's been a little bit of a focus on Mongoose. And Mongoose is an embedded web server for the for most embedded platforms, but I particularly used it from the Raspberry Pi Pico and Pico 2, or Pico 2W. And so I've done a little bit of work this month looking at it, solving that whole config wizard problem. So when we build for a Pico 2W or a Pico W, generally, most of the time, I hard code my Wi-Fi credentials into the app. Now, that's great for me, and it's fine for stuff in my lab. But how about if I want to give this device to a friend, if I want to hand it over to them and let them have it and play with that? Well, I can't really do that. I'm going to ask them for what their Wi-Fi credentials are, and so I can hard code it into the code. That's not a great idea. So what I looked at is, could I actually use the Pico 2W's access point mode? So actually it create its own Wi-Fi service, SID, and then actually connect to that and actually configure all the credentials then there on through a web browser. And yes, I can. I use Mongoose to do that. So go check out that video. That was really cool. And then Mongoose did the unthinkable for me. And, you know, while I was playing around with all this, they, of course, released a new exciting version of stuff. So we got a new UI builder from them. So now, you know, if like me, developing web interfaces is okay, I can do it, but it isn't really what gets me excited, then you could use their web UI builder, and it will build that web UI. It will build all the web services that get run behind that that UI, and compile those all onto your Pico, so that you've just got to write the glue code that connects at the end of those services into your models and your stuff that you're getting your Pico to do. So that's a really useful way of getting UIs nicely onto your Pico 2. So check out that video as well. Other long-term things I've talked about on the channel are things like security. Security is really quite important and becoming more and more important, I think, for edge devices. They're exposed, they're at the edge of the network and the world. They have the potential to be hacked and used. There was some crazy stats talking about the fact that actually denial of service attacks now are often the farms running those are actually not laptops and desktops and servers, but actually things like CCTV cameras, which have all been hacked and have been converted into, you know, denial of service farms and robots, which is kind of crazy, really. One of the technologies, I think, to get us away from that and to start looking at how we're securing and updating the edge of our network and with these sorts of devices is from a company called Thistle Technology. And I took a look at their service. Now, their easy demo, I must admit, is around a Raspberry Pi rather than the Pico or Pico 2. I hope to do some of their stuff with a Pico or a Pico 2, but at the moment I've done some stuff with a Raspberry Pi, and that demonstrated actually how over-the-air updates can be done for a Raspberry Pi. So that was a little bit of a project. Take a look at that one. And then I've had a play around with near-field computing or near field devices, and so basically tapping in, and in order to identify myself, that was a bit of fun too. Oh, sorry, I'm not even advancing the slides. I'm not really with it today. And of course, I've shared a little bit more around my AstroDroid and a PCB build for AstroDroid control. So how I'm actually controlling the wheels on the AstroDroid and how that's going. So there's lots of exciting stuff. Go take a look at all of that. The AstroDroid is a great deal of fun. I don't know, my stats show that you guys find it quite as fun as I do, but certainly building robots, I think, is good fun. And my ideas around that one, I think, are interesting. Trying to distribute everything out into little components controlling things. So having each wheel controlled separately as a separate RP2040 board, I think is cool. But go take a look and see what you think. So those are the projects that are all out there and stuff are out there. Of course, I'm working on lots of other stuff because I'm working on what I'm then trying to push a little bit further forward. Let's switch back to my other, there we go for screen. So stuff that was going to be coming up is I'm looking a little bit more at things like FreeRTOS kernel and some of the performance stats and diagnostic stats that we get out of the FreeRTOS kernel. I use the kernel a lot on my projects because it gives me that multitasking capability and looks after all of that for me. And I'm then mixing that with Mongoose in order to get that dashboard exposed. So take a look at that one. That will be fun, coming out very soon. It's more around Rexby, my AstroDroid, and how I'm controlling it and driving it around to do some testing. Something around these PIMoroni unicorn boards. So I really like these. They're great little boards, and PIMoroni generally does a lot of great stuff. One thing that sometimes worries me about these is the Pico W on this one, or now they're Pico 2Ws on the latest range of them, is actually surface mount soldered onto the back, which means you can no longer easily get to the SWD port and actually therefore use that for flashing and updating and debugging the code. That's kind of annoying. So I got round finally to designing myself a pogo board, and I'll share that all with you as a story and what a pogo board is and why that fixes my problem with these boards, at least in a video very soon. We've already talked about Wavreshare Touch 2.8 displays. Well, we're going to talk about those, and I've also got into looking at a chip for measuring voltage, so I can actually look at what's going on my batteries on my AstroDroid and how the batteries are decreasing. So I'm using an INA 3221, and I'll look at how I can actually work with that with the Pico. So check out all of those coming up in the next month. So all exciting stuff. And in fact, when I talk about it, it's amazing how much stuff I'm actually getting out and sharing with you guys. So I hope some of that is exciting and useful to you too. So, sorry, next button. Right. So how about your projects? I'd love to be able to share something about your projects in this space. I'm sure you're doing some great stuff too. And please let me know. I really would love to be able to plug some of your stuff as well as my stuff. This is our space and some really exciting and fun stuff. So if it's only simple, that's fine too. But let me know. I really would love to be able to plug things. So if, like Jahan Shim, you've done a really great project on an e-ink display or anything, let me know. Get in touch, and we can share some of give you some, brownie points for wonderful stuff that you've brought out to the community. So talking about being out in the community, I'm actually managed to get out and about a bit, which is quite unusual for me. I'm quite often stuck in this little room. But no, I've been out there, out in the real world, and I visited the Hardware Pioneers show up in London only a few days ago. And that was interesting. So Hardware Pioneers is quite a serious show for embedded developers and IoT development. Had lots and lots of vendors showing their wares, and a couple of conference stages going on with talks from each of the vendors throughout the day of various things going on. So I caught up with my friends from Thistle Technology and listened to their presentation, which was really interesting. And we also saw some robots and stuff. It's an interesting show. There is certainly a lot of stuff that is at the manufacturing level and manufacturing partners present there, but also a lot of vendors for getting equipment and things, including our friends at Raspberry Pi, who are there showing off their full range of technology. So, you know, a good range of stuff, good range of capabilities, and it was a worthwhile day out of the study to learn a bit about what other people are doing and get a few more contacts around other companies and other technologies that might appear at future dates on my channel. So keep watching and see where it happens. That isn't the only place I'm going though. Coming up on May the 17th, I will be in Birmingham in the UK for the Maker Central. So if you're going to be there, I'd love to meet you and have a chat. I'm going to, so yeah, Maker Central is, I guess, unlike Hardware Pioneers, which is more into the true embedded equipment and embedded manufacturers space, Maker Central is more about generally hobbyists and makers and some of the equipment we use. So, and it's the sort of UK's biggest show on this, I think. So I'm going there on Saturday, May the 17th. I'd love to meet you guys. Please do get in touch and let me know. It'll be great to see you. Hey, hi, Regis. I'm sorry I missed you on Thursday. It would have been interesting to say hi at the wherever, Hardware Pioneers. That's what it was called. So yeah, Maker Central, the next event coming up. I'll try and keep you aware of any other events coming up and where I'm going to be. So let's talk about what's going on the channel and what are my plans on the channel at the moment. Well, I guess, you know, first of all, I always talk about my broadcast schedule. So, you know, you guys, certainly if you're frequent visitors, you know that my full blog, which is normally about 20 minutes or so in length, goes out on a Thursday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the UK. Other times may apply in other locations. And then I make a 3-minute summary version of that, which is then in portrait mode and goes out then on the following Tuesday. And in between, on the Sunday, I sometimes post shorts if I've got them. And sometimes we have this live stream. Yeah, this. Sometimes it's the edited cut of this live stream where I cut out all of the bits where I'm drinking water or rambling too much. So, you know, that's what goes out on the Sunday in between. So what plans are really just carrying on with that format, though there is going to be a small hiatus in May. So I'm afraid there will be no live stream this May. Next live stream, i.e. this will be in June. And the reasons for that is I think I mentioned on the channel around Christmas time that I'd actually had a little bit of bad news and got a cancer diagnosis. So unfortunately, I have prostate cancer, and I'm going to have a little bit of treatment in May for that, and hopefully I will recover very quick. But where it falls is nicely between Maker Central and when I'll be doing a live stream. So yeah, at the end of May, I'm going to be taking some time out. Now, the good news is, because I work ahead of the schedule and we've got stuff all queued up, the other broadcasts and the other stuff that I'm putting out still go out as normal. There should be no interrupt. If you're trying to get into touch with me, then there might be a little bit of a hiatus while I'm waiting to get back to you. But generally, there should be no problem. The only real change is, yeah, no live stream. So sorry about that. But I will be back in June for a better than ever live stream. And I look forward to chatting to that. So what else is going on? Well, what else should I be telling you about? Well, I should also be plugging the super thanks button. Remember, there is a super thanks button which is somewhere below me on the stream here, on the channel on YouTube. You can push that and give me a cash tip if the stuff I'm doing is really useful and helpful to you. I'm putting this money to try and get myself to the open source conference in San Francisco, which is the end of July, and hopefully I'm going to be fit enough for that as well. And I'd appreciate your help in getting me there. If you're based in the US, particularly around the Bay Area, because that's going to be in San Mateo, just outside San Francisco, I'd love to meet up when I make it there. I'm going to make it there. Things are going to go better, and we're going to get there. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be really, really cool. So I make it. The open source looks way good. I wish Maker Central was quite as exciting, but yeah, so good for that. Remember, I've also got my Udemy course is out there, which are also important and part of my world and my revenue. So if you're interested in learning around getting started with these Picos, some of my interesting little tiny projects to get things going, learning about FreeRTOS, building IoT systems with the Picos, building web service clients with the Picos, then we're all fun stuff, all cool stuff, and all good stuff. So yeah, and I are also bunging updates onto other social channels as well, though I must admit YouTube is definitely the home. So there's been a bit of chat on the chat system, so let me just and thank you for your best wishes, Regis, appreciated. Bill, I'll come back to your question in a bit, if that's okay. I'm sure I can answer that and give you a couple of pointers. But yeah, I guess the other thing I really should have mentioned and said is a big thank you, because we went over 5,000 subscribers this month, which is a big thing. And I bunged up a thank you onto YouTube, you may have seen, and some vouchers for my courses and stuff. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate that massively. And, it's great to have so many people joining and that so many people also enjoy this hobby and playing with this stuff. It's all cool. So all good. And thank you very much. Please stay subscribed and keep watching, because there's more stuff coming, I think. So we've got to the Q&A part of the afternoon, and as I said, it's kind of live Q&A because I haven't got any pre-canned questions. So we have one question with, hey bro, if Raspberry Pi Pico microcontroller supports dual core processing, how can you manage synchronization? Hi, well, there are a number of approaches to doing synchronization. The easiest perhaps is that there is actually two FIFOs that run between those two cores, and so you can send messages down through the FIFOs between each of the cores, which is generally how I do it. You can use other strategies, including, you know, protecting areas of memory and things, and or you could use a real-time operating system. So actually, if you look at some of my examples back on the videos, particularly ones on the FreeRTOS version 11 launch, that video actually shows an example of running a dual-core RP2040 application that's actually sending data between the two cores, and it's doing so using the FIFO. So there's an example for you, and a video where you can find it. And thank you very much, Regis, for saying my courses are fantastic. Thank you very much. Most people seem to love it. Occasionally, a student doesn't. I try and do what I can. Some of this stuff isn't easy, and I try to explain it as easily as possible and give people a route to take this stuff on, because this whole world is a hobby is really fun. But it, like all good things, it isn't always easy to do. So there we go. That was the questions. So I will wish you a happy fun to keep tinkering and enjoying your building and your projects, and as I'll keep tinkering and enjoying and building my stuff. So the next live stream will be towards the end of June. I will bung out a date for that as soon as I have it, and we can see. Another question coming in, actually. Can I answer that one quickly? When you're developing in C with FreeRTOS, which C++ versions are usually using? C99? Yeah, I tend to use C99. To be honest, it varies. It depends how much of the templating system I actually need to use. But if I can avoid using too much templating, that I might use one of the simpler versions. But yeah, C99 works fine and seems to compile perfectly well. There is a whole load of examples of FreeRTOS over kernel projects over on my GitHub. Or just you can see lots of examples, and they'll all tell you which version I'm running with. It's in the top level CMake file always. So yeah, take a look at those. But generally, unless I need to use more advanced features of that, and anything will be fun. Yeah. So cool. So yes, keep tinkering. So I'm going to jump over now onto the DevEco's chat or DevEco's Discord server, and I'll be around to actually have more of an interactive chat if you want for a bit. And then I will see you guys next time. So please do keep subscribed. Please like my stuff, and keep watching the channel. There's lots more fun stuff to come out, and I'm having fun, and I hope you will too with this stuff too. So I hope to see you all guys really soon. So take care, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye for now.